Welcome to another edition of the It's Cavalier podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, it is September 4th as of recording this. We are a little over 3.5 weeks away from Cavs Media Day and the beginning of training camp, and exactly 49 days until the team kicks off its 55th season against those pesky Canadians. You know who I'm talking about, the Toronto Raptors, a team that the Cleveland Cavaliers always just seem to open seasons against. I don't get it. Come on, NBA. News can be slow to develop at this point in the offseason, but the Cavs have some things worth reporting or speaking on at least. Let's start with the non-basketball related news, shall we? The Cleveland Cavaliers have hired a new president of business, not basketball, business operations. In a recent press release, it was announced that Bill Fagan will serve as the president of business operations of Rock Entertainment Group and the Cavs. And for those of you who may be unaware, Rock Entertainment Group is the holding company for the Cavs among many other companies. It was noted that Fagan will officially begin working in his new role on September 23rd, so about 3 weeks from now. For those of you who may be wondering what exactly this man's job will be or what type of responsibilities he will have, I got you. As president of business operations for Rock Entertainment Group and the Cleveland Cavaliers, Bill will oversee all commercial aspects, communications, marketing, community relations, social impact, the Cavs Community Foundation, franchise operations, and other areas of growth for Rock Entertainment Group. He will report directly to Nick Barlage, Chief Executive Officer for Rock Entertainment Group, Cleveland Cavaliers, and Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. Fagan has experience working in this industry, having held positions with both the Phoenix Suns and the Charlotte Bobcats, now the Hornets, back in the day. He has expressed how excited he is for this new role, stating, "I've long admired the Cavaliers and what Rock Entertainment Group has built under the outstanding leadership of the Gilbert family through Nick Barlage and his senior leadership team. I'm energized to support all our team members across the organization as we together continue to set the standard of excellence in community leadership, fan service innovation, and maintaining a sustained winning culture. The Northeast Ohio region, anchored by Cleveland, is a special place comprised of real, hardworking people filled with pride and passion. I cannot wait to serve this community." That is pretty awesome to hear, ain't it? Next up, we have a trade. And before you get too excited, pump the brakes. It's not exactly the Cavaliers. It's the team's G League affiliate, the Cleveland Charge. God, I will never get used to saying that. The Cleveland Charge have announced that they have sent the rights to guard Trey Maddox to the Long Island Nets in exchange for the rights to guard Trey McGowan. Maddox just came off a season in which he suited up for both the Charge and Osceola Magic. He ended the regular season with averages of 4.5 points, 1 assist, and shot just 37.3% from the field, including 33.3% from three-point distance in 20 games. Now, on the other side of this token, McGowan spent the season with the College Park Skyhawks and the Long Island Nets. He had averages of 10.9 points, 3.4 rebounds, and 2.1 assists, while completing over 50.6% of his field goals, including a pretty damn solid 42.3% from three-point range and 14 G League regular season contests. And to this point, neither of them has actually appeared in an NBA game, and time will tell if that changes over the course of the 2024-25 season. Cleveland doesn't have any two-way spots left at the moment after signing Emoni Bates, Luke Travers, and JT Thor to those two-way spots, but I wouldn't rule out a possible two-way in the future if one of the current guys gets converted like we've seen in the past. A 10-day contract is always on the table, as Cleveland will no doubt be looking to find cheap options to fill roles as they navigate the murky waters of this new CBA. And listed at 6'4", 196 pounds, McGowan has solid size at the point, and I will definitely be watching the Charge a little bit more closely this season just to see what he's got and what he can bring to the table, along with some of those other names that I mentioned. Now to perhaps the most important news of the week so far. That is that the Cleveland Cavaliers have used a stretch provision, something that you do not see happen all that often. Hey guys, do you remember when the Cavs decided to use a portion of their mid-level exception to hand former Cavalier Ricky Rubio, who was coming off a major injury, an ACL injury to be exact, a 3-year, $18 million contract in the summer of 2022, only to have to buy him out midway through the 2023-24 season? Rubio ended up giving up $5.4 million in that buyout agreement, which left the team with cap charges of $3,722,327 for the 2023-24 season and $1,274,015 for the 2024-25 campaign. And while this money is still on the books, the Cavs have found indeed a creative way to create more flexibility while having to use it. You see, the Cavs have just used the CBA's stretch provision, which allowed them to stretch the second-year salary across 3 seasons as long as they did so before the August 31st deadline, which they did. Now, it's important to note that under the previous CBA, using the stretch provision was only allowed at the time of said waiver request, which would have meant that they would have had to apply it at the time of that buyout. They could have theoretically done that, but it turned out to be a smart idea not to do so. This creative move allows the Cavs an extra $849,343 more in cap flexibility for this upcoming season. Why so specific with these numbers, you ask? Well, it's important considering the potential implications and ramifications it could have for the team's ability to make moves to round out the rest of the roster. As of now, we only have 12 roster players without the likes of Okoro. Now, it may not seem like a lot, but it does give Cleveland just a bit more breathing room below the luxury tax line as Kobe Altman and company continue to try to negotiate a deal with Okoro in particular. Now, I assume they are now looking to re-sign him to a multi-year contract, then sign a 14th player to a minimum, as well as stay out of the tax territory. If that is the goal, this extra money will definitely help. Now, this team is now $10.6 million below the luxury tax line and $17.9 million below the first apron. This basically means that they can now offer him a first-year salary in the $8 million range and steer clear of becoming taxpayers. Now, of course, none of this is absolutely guaranteeing his return. It just makes it even more of a possibility now, in my opinion. And even if they do re-sign him, they may still need to shed additional salary during the season to avoid that tax. It's why players like Caris LeVert, Ty Jerome, maybe even Sam Merrill, even though I'd hate to see that happen, could eventually be moved. Of course, this is all pure speculation up to this point, as Kobe Altman tends to play things close to his chest. Now, honestly, it does seem like the team is trying to make moves to accommodate Isaac Okoro's potential return, but this could also be starting a dangerous precedent, in my opinion. This new CBA is tricky to navigate. The tax aprons seem to be making teams give a lot more thought to how they build out around their most expensive players. And you already know, Cleveland, we just re-signed Donovan Mitchell. We already have Darius Garland under contract. Evan Mobley was given a rookie scale max extension. And then we added additional years to Jarrett Allen's contract, making his deal more enticing for potential suitors in the future, but that's a lot of money tied up in the core. So rounding out the rest of the roster and being very specific and deliberate with your mid-tier players or additional pieces, your role players, whatever, what have you, that is very, very important. And so middle tier guys or role players like Okoro could end up sacrificing more than they would have under previous CBAs. To me, this means a potential lockout could occur in the future. Time will tell, but I'm not feeling good about some of the direction that this is heading in, and I think we've kind of seen the Cavaliers dig their foot in the ground and kind of try and stay in their ground, when it honestly just, to me, it doesn't feel like we should be doing that. If this is the line, this luxury tax line, if this is the line and hill that we're willing to die on, I'm just... It does not make me feel good about the future for situations like this moving forward under this current CBA. Now, I remain under the belief that Isaac Okoro will return on a multi-year contract or, God forbid, the qualifying offer. But, man, it doesn't make me feel the greatest. Now, this Ricky Rubio stretch provision, it's a step in the right direction. I think they legitimately do want Okoro back, but after seeing him kind of flame out in 2 postseasons, back-to-back postseasons, I guess maybe the writing is on the wall that they just have not seen what they wanted to see out of him, and I think that's perfectly understandable. Time will tell, but that's it for now. Go Cavs.